September of 2024, I emerged from the den of my basement to embark on a musical journey that almost didn't happen. A journey to the Sonic Symphony. Prepare for my monolithic ramble, shared through visual storytelling so that you too can join the Sonic adventure. It's the Lily Factor. Ding! Warning, this video contains flashing lights from the show that may affect photosensitive viewers. Bonus warning, this video also contains an excessive amount of Sonic references, which may affect Sonic-sensitive viewers. Gamer discretion is advised. So there I was, doom-scrolling YouTube, when a video promoting the Sonic Symphony World Tour appeared, entitled, "New Tour Dates Added." Wait, what? I thought to myself, this is still going on? I had been out of the Sonic loop-de-loop for 6 years, so while I knew that the Sonic Symphony existed, I thought I had already missed it. I immediately got off my duff and started frantically storming their website for tour dates. But why exactly? 'Cause I'm a weirdo! Growing up, I was a silly goober who liked Sonic game music. Apparently, I've never grown up. Hearing a punchy tune that melodically feels like a kick in the head makes me a happy gamer. As a youth, I suffered from Sonic superiority complex, meaning I strictly played Sonic games because I didn't care what the internet had to say about the franchise. This resulted in me listening to songs like Ska Cha Cha to the bewilderment of my family. I'm just kidding, I didn't listen to Ska Cha Cha much. I just like to use that song as the butt of my jokes, so be prepared because I've got a whole slew of Ska Cha Cha jokes I've been saving just for this video. I really should get out of the basement more. Anyhow, the Sonic Symphony is a show dedicated to performing strictly Sonic music. It's divided into two portions, the symphonic portion and the rock portion. The symphonic portion pays homage to Sonic music in orchestral medleys, and the rock portion lets the audience shred their vocal cords while sweating off gamer weight. As a violinist myself, I love getting to attend orchestral performances. So Sonic music played with an orchestra? What could be better? Scanning the tour locations, I decided to select the Boston showing. If you were at the Boston show, let me know. I dashed out of my basement to invite my parents to come with me. The date worked out that my mom could go with me because I can't do this alone. Even though I am strong, need something more than me, someone to drive me to the symphony. Look, I have my driver's license, okay? I just didn't want it to say on my gravestone, her love for Sonic is what cost her. That and I was scared of Sonic fans, okay? After going to the symphony, my perception of Sonic fans changed, which I'll talk more about later. But you've gotta admit, guys, the internet makes Sonic fans look really bad. I mean, just look at this weirdo. Ugh. I'm gonna have to take my annual shower after seeing this freakazoid. So the tickets were purchased and the date was set. YouTube, getting me out of the house since 2024. My mom and I bought ourselves some Sonic tees to wear to the show. I selected Sonic's 30th anniversary shirt to wear. I mean, I knew Sonic was over 30, but I didn't want him to feel old. Besides, he's finally old enough to start lying about his age. It seemed like everything was all set. Except, I almost didn't go to the show. Just a little over a week before the big day, my grandfather passed away. At that point, I didn't know if we would be able to make the show. We would have to fly to Texas for the funeral, but when would the funeral be? Closer and closer to the symphony, the funeral date was set. It was several days after the show, but my parents made sacrifices having us leave to Texas later so that I could still go to the show. So big shout out to my parents. Thank you, Mommy and Daddy. Finally, the big day came. I downed some edamame whilst watching Little Lunch like a truly cultured adult. Then together, my mom and I hurried to the unexplored land, with many walls and obstacles, like the fact that the GPS system was upside down the entire drive. Please drive the inverted route. Or the fact that there were multiple roads in Boston that cut straight into the highway, except the highway didn't have any traffic lights for those roads passing through. Had it not been for the crosswalkers preventing the aforementioned gravestone engraving, we would have had a Frogger-like driving experience. Just hang in there, Mom. I know that we will find our way. We'll do whatever it takes. Oh wait, wrong song. And if we never reach the crowd, we'll take the whole thing down. What was that last part? Lily? The entire drive to Boston, I played the only appropriate background music. When we got to the more stressful part of the Crisis City, we reached the middle of the Sonic Symphony soundtrack. I gave my mom a choice: the 10-minute Chow Garden intermission song or the rock portion. My mom chose the intermission music, which ended up being the perfect choice as the song finished precisely when we made it to the parking garage. We parked inside a mall not far away from the Boston Symphony Hall. That rhymed. And we arrived really early. Not much time later, standing awkwardly in the mall, I noticed a fellow gamer just a ways away talking to an officer. So how many rings did you say you saw the jewel thief with? Yeah, 7? 7? Yeah, 7 rings. So you're saying he had 7 rings in hand? If only there were some sort of super secret Sonic nerd hand signal I could give him, because I don't think this one is very appropriate. And doing Sonic's signature point at the ceiling hand signal might have confused him or others. What is she pointing at? Haha! 1! My mom and I had to validate our parking at some sort of concierge thing. I didn't really understand it. I was too busy daydreaming. The lady we spoke to about parking asked us what we were there for. Oh, we're going to a concert. She then proceeded to ask us if we were going to see the Harry Potter Symphony. Naturally. In her defense, my mom had told me when she was looking up the Boston Symphony Hall that they perform music for other video games and movies, including a Harry Potter concert that happened just a week before. That's probably what the girl was thinking. I mean, unless it was a reference to, if that's the case, then all I can say is, teach me your ways! We had an early dinner at Kava, then walked around the mall a bit before we started our journey towards the Symphony building. On the way, I spotted several fellow geeks and a small cluster of Shadow nerds. Like werehogs, Shadow fans tend to travel in packs. Despite arriving incredibly early, there was already a decent line forming outside of the building. There were many Sonic shirts, plushies, and full-on cosplayers out there. I took many pictures so that I could draw everyone for the video. Remarkably, you all managed to stare directly at the camera when I discreetly snapped your picture. How did you all know I was taking your picture? Did I miss a meeting or something? As I stared at the line of fans, I couldn't help but wonder what the lovely people of Boston must have thought of all of us. Hey Joey, looks like the Boston Symphony Hall is having like a convention or something. Better go lock my car. As we approached a line, I noticed a group of people holding up their 3DSs. I could hear music emanating from one of them. The dialogue in my head went as follows. Sounds like the victory music from Sonic Rush. And I am cringe for knowing that. Now it's time for the sponsor of today's video. You need help. Your own personal online therapist. Nah, I'm just kidding. I don't have a sponsor. My mom noticed that the line of fans were standing outside of the entrance to the ticket booths rather than the entrance with the sign marked entrance. She made me go inside to the ticket booth vendors to ask what line we should be loitering in. A guy entered behind me shortly after I got my answer and asked me the same question. Great minds! Think like my mom. We got in line to the actual entrance. It was a small Sonic team of us, aka how it felt to be a Sonic fan post '06. My mom and I were almost at the front of the line. There were only 2 girls ahead of us, one who looked excited out of her mind, and the other one, not so much. Directly behind us was a family of 3. The guy I spoke to at the ticket entrance was behind them. We all briefly chatted amongst each other as the neighboring line kept hanging on to the other side. My mom asked the girls in front of us if they had been to this building before. They said that they had. They went to see a Zelda and Genshin Impact symphony there. While I haven't played Genshin Impact, I know a little about it because for a time my cousin's catchphrase was, "Wanna watch me play Genshin Impact?" I got excited when they mentioned it as a concert because my cousin loves the music from this game. She's played some tracks for me before, and her favorite thing about the songs is the Gregorian chanting. You know, the Don anabis pashim, in omnia paratis, heoevo. It took all of my willpower not to say to these girls, "You went to the Genshin Impact Symphony? Did you hear any Gregorian chanting?" I believe if I had said that, the conversation would have went accordingly. First, they would have said no. Then, they would have gotten out of there. Most importantly, they'd tell someone they know, like a parent, teacher, or police officer. Okay, ladies, what seems to be the problem? Sonic nerd. Genshin Impact. Gregorian chanting. Yes. I know this case all too well. I asked the girls what their favorite Sonic songs were. One girl said she was just there for her friend. She's not really into Sonic, but has played a few games. Little did she know, that was the answer I expected to hear. The other girl said, definitely Silver's theme, Dreams of an Absolution. I asked her how old she was when she got into Sonic. She replied, "When I was 4. My brother and I would play the games together. It helped us learn English." I just love that last part. The line to the wrong entrance continued to grow while our line stayed humble. We wondered if the crowd knew they were standing in the wrong line. The guy I spoke to before said either they're gonna be really upset or we are. We pondered how they might react if they learned that they were indeed in the wrong line. Having no idea how Sonic fans behave in public, I expected an angry mob that would end up on an episode of 60 Minutes. "Sorry folks, you're in the wrong line." Fans of Sonic unleashed their rage today after realizing they were standing in the wrong line. "All I saw was a blue blur, and then nothing." I also spoke to the family behind us, a mother and father and an 8-year-old son who is clearly brilliant, and I'm not just saying that because he's a Sonic fan. Though let's be real, it helps. Who else could have taught me not to climb into a washing machine, I ask you? The little boy was very outspoken. He talked in great detail about what Sonic games he's played and hopes to play. He even asked me if I've heard of Marine, which gives me hope for the younger generation. His family took him to see the concert as a late birthday present. I asked him who his favorite Sonic character was, other than Sonic, of course, since you can't have a Sonic character without Sonic. He gave me a clue. "He can fly," he said. His dad interrupted. "That's easy, it's Tails." His son did not like that giveaway, but that was going to be my guess anyhow. The son also talked about how he wants to learn to run really fast like Sonic. He realizes he can't run at Sonic's speed, but he'd still like to run fast. It reminded me of when I was his age, hoping to be a runner for the Olympics. Gee, I wonder where I got that idea from. It also reminded me of when I was 10 walking with my family. I asked if I could run ahead of them, and then proceeded to run as fast as I could while singing Supersonic Racing to myself. I was cringe. Still am. The boy's parents asked him if he was going to ask me who my favorite Sonic character was, but we'll get to my answer later. There was a photographer who came in and out of the building a couple of times to take pictures of everyone. "Congratulations, Mom! Your hand made the Facebook post!" At one point, the photographer accidentally got locked out of the building. He then spun around, smacked into the glass door, and shouted, "I'm here! Reaching for—" Nah, he didn't say that, but you can imagine what it would be like if he did. The time finally came. The doors opened, and I was the 3rd person to enter. After we passed the metal detectors and had our tickets scanned, I set out for one thing and one thing only: the merch stand. I turned to my mom and I said, "Let's book it, and if anyone stands in our way, just say, 'I'm gonna hit you with Sonic speed.'" Needless to say, we were the first to arrive at the merch stand. The guy working there commented, "Wow, there's people here already?" All I could think was, dude, we're Sonic fans. We gotta go fast. This boyo needs to put down his Mario Kart and live a little. I bought an expensive shirt and a glow stick. I noticed a slip of paper was next to the stick as we departed from the stand, but I thought nothing of it. As we walked through the building, I noticed there were vendors selling snacks and drinks, including alcohol. They were all like, "Who's hungry?" I thought, pfft, if I were selling snacks at the Sonic Symphony, I would say it like, "Hey, stop before you proceed. This is what you need. 'Cause this is what this is what this is this is what this is what this is this is what this is what this is what you need, what you need." Jeez, enough with the back-to-back Sonic song references. Ah, nice one. Right there. Right on. Of course, we didn't need any snacks or beverages. We brought our own bottles of water, and when you're screaming along to rock songs, believe me when I say you're gonna drink every single drop of all you got. We found our seats, sat down, and listened to a recorded track of Sonic music as the orchestra tuned themselves. I spotted 2 Mario cosplayers. Traitors! I did not survive heated debates defending Sonic's honor against Mario fans in elementary school just to see your plumber selves at the symphony. And I know it wasn't to promote the currently non-existent Mario and Sonic at the Paris Olympic Games. After I got over that, I quizzed my mom on the Sonic characters projected onto the screen. I started to name the characters and finished by saying, "This one's Mighty the Armadillo, and lastly, that one's Honey the Badger." I genuinely wish the fan sitting behind me, who grimaced when I said that, had yelled, "I found you, faker!" While we were sitting there, I decided to test out my glow stick. I pressed and held the button for a bit. Nothing. Then I tried multiple variations of button pressing. Still nothing. I said, I guess batteries aren't included. I'll give it the benefit of the doubt though, sometimes I can be stupid. My mom was in disbelief. There was no way they were gonna sell people glow sticks for the show without batteries in them. We both proceeded to fiddle with the thing, but it wasn't working. I even loaned my mom a cap of my pen to try to unscrew the back of the thing, and I thought I was oh so clever. Eventually we gave up and hurried back to the merch stand. By now there were hundreds of fans in line. We weren't sure how we could ever get back up there to switch out my broken glow stick. After all, you can only move as fast as "Who's in front of you?" That one was for you, emo kids. This is the point in the story where my perception of Sonic fans was proven wrong. We walked up to the people in line and said, "Excuse us," and they parted the way and let us completely cut in front of them. We walked to the side of the stand and told a lady working there our woes. She asked if we got the instruction manual for the stick. At that point I thought, so that's what that paper was! Thanks a lot, Mario fan guy. I'm kidding, I don't know if he's a Mario fan. The lady gave us the instructions and it said to hold the button for a few seconds. In spite of my trying that before, it worked this time. This is what happens when you try to let the speed mend it. You know how people have motivational cat posters on their wall to boost their confidence? Well, I stuck that instruction manual up on my wall as a reminder of my humanity. As we ventured back to our seats, I saw some fans accidentally shoulder check one another, then promptly apologize to each other. It was at this point I was starting to realize that the crowd we were in was actually full of many polite introverts, rather than the angry mob I was expecting to see. On our way back to our seats, I managed to get ahead of my mom like a true Sonic fan would. When I didn't see her at our seats, I looked around for her, then walked back out of the auditorium into the hall to find her. I spotted her a ways away and stood there awkwardly, waiting for her to come by. A man working there asked me if I needed help finding the entrance, which I was standing right in front of. You saw me struggling to turn on my glow stick earlier, didn't you? Reunited with my mom, we returned to our seats, and a few minutes later, the show began. This particular location for the symphony is special because it's the home for many who work at the Sonic Symphony. Because of that, they had some special surprises for us. They asked us not to record the symphonic portion of the show. Whoa, ho, 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 ho. Yeah, that'll stop them. The symphonic portion was amazing. The songs were beautiful, and whoever edited the game footage to go with the music did a great job. Many jokes were inserted into the footage to go with the music, and it had everyone cracking up. I was especially dying at the chemical plant joke. Most stressful level ever. When they played the Sonic 3 medley, they showed the opening clip of Super Sonic flying over the water. I leaned over to my mom and said, "He's about to get punched." When they started playing medleys of 3D Sonic games, that's when they started to throw in some surprises. For the Sonic Heroes medley, they showed unseen clips of the Sonic Shadow Generations game, which wasn't out at the time. The crowd went ballistic. Then some songs that aren't in the Symphony's album on Spotify were played, one of which was a beautiful symphonic version of Silver's theme, Dreams of an Absolution. I heard 3 especially loud female screams when the song started playing, and I couldn't help but wonder if one of them was from the girl I had spoken to in line. There was a girl behind me who sung the lyrics for the song while they played it. She sounded really good. I was like, someone needs to get this girl on stage. Truth be told, I knew of Silver's theme but didn't really listen to the song. It's just a little too synthy for my taste. However, after hearing the symphonic version of the song, I liked the melody just enough to hunt for a version of it I would like. That's how I found the rock version. So thank you, Mr. Sonoe. Needless to say, I now bop my head regularly to Dreams of an Absolution while I work. After the symphonic portion was done, it was time for a brief intermission. We booked it to the bathroom, which barely had a line. The men's bathroom, however, was packed. I wondered why our line was so short, but then my mom pointed out that there probably weren't as many females in the show as males. This is the moment I realized that being a fan of something you're not the target demographic of can finally pay off! You Lady Sonic fans remember that. After the intermission was over, it was time for the rock portion. To be frank, I was nervous about this portion. For most of the rock songs, I only knew the opening guitar riffs. That was about as far as I would get sifting through the music I'd unlocked playing Sonic Generations on the 3DS.
Yeah, that's good, but where can I find Ska-Cha-Cha in here?
I know, guys, I'm a fake fan. In fact, I'm not even good enough to be a fake. Okay, so for my friends and family who are watching this and are concerned for me, that was a reference. I'm not being self-deprecating. Another reason I was worried about the rock portion was the volume. We chose balcony seats in the back to have a good view and not be too close to the speakers, as I have very sensitive hearing. I even brought earplugs just to be safe, but I didn't end up needing them. I've been to baseball games that were louder than this show. The first rock song the symphony played was a Shadow song. The crowd went nuts. Shadow just kept asking me if I could see all of him, and I was like, Shadow, don't make me upset. I don't want to hear you. When they showed Shadow toting around his favorite firearm, my mom said, there's the gun. I was disturbed by how well I had prepared her for that. One thing I also had to prepare my mom for before the show was gun. A gun, or I don't know. But if you didn't know, Shadow's origin story involves losing his best friend, a blonde-haired girl named Maria, to gun violence. This results in Shadow becoming very emo, which is what the fans live for. So when the symphony shows Maria's implied death, the fans cheer. I was like, that's not cool. But then again, I am also a hypocrite. Now back to the question of who is my favorite Sonic character. Silver! Duh! He's just the best self-contradicting time-traveling psychokinetic hedgehog with head trauma. Not long after the rock portion began, a little boy seated in front of me who was wide awake for the symphonic portion was now out cold. Something about electric guitars and screaming put this kid right to sleep. It reminded me of when I was his age at my first concert. It featured Building 429, Hawk Nelson, Family Force 5, and some other bands. My sister and I thoroughly enjoyed ourselves waving our glow sticks to Family Force 5. We wobbled our legs, bobbled our heads, threw our arms back and forth like we were hugging ourselves. We walked like a zombie, and after all that, I was out cold. According to my family, when Building 429 came out, there were flames, they were elevated on the stage. For all I knew, they could have been doing backflips on motorcycles, but I was out of it. That's what I get for cranking it like a chainsaw. You might not be wondering how I can turn Family Force 5 into a Sonic reference, but did you know that they have a song called Super Sonic? Eventually, the family in front of us left the show early, so sadly the kid has probably been dealing with his family telling him how he missed out on Shadow doing backflips on his motorcycle. I've been there, kid, and I've seen it. I'm never gonna stop believing. You missed out on the flames. When they played Sonic 06 songs, I thought it was funny that most of the clips they showed were cutscenes, and the one time they did show gameplay footage, Sonic blipped right into a building. I've got to get more clips from Sonic 06 for this footage, but none of these cutscenes work. Maybe I'll try gameplay footage. It's no use! Another reason I was really excited for the Boston show is that the symphony has special musical guests for each concert, and their Facebook page had announced that Tomoya Ohtani was going to be the guest for that location. Tomoya has composed a lot of the Sonic songs, and my personal favorite, Midnight Owl, which is a tango song. When the Sonic Symphony Facebook asked if we had song requests, I requested Ska-Cha-Cha, of course. Nah, I'm just kidding. But I genuinely want to know how they could turn that song into a rock or symphonic song. I actually requested Midnight Owl. Tango happens to be one of my favorite genres of music to play on my violin, so when I couldn't find an arrangement for Midnight Owl, I tried to arrange it myself. And it was the first time I've ever tried to arrange a song before. and I put together a violin duet for the song. So after putting together an arrangement for one of his songs, I was really excited to see that Tomoyo Otani was going to be there. The performers for the show were all very good. The lead singer did a great job of getting everyone hyped and even involving us in the song Night of the Wind.
My choir, my Sonic choir, are you ready to sing? All right, the notes. Okay. Goes like this. Whoa! Whoa! Whoa!
That song was the most infamous for me, only knowing the opening guitar riff to it, and yet in spite of that, I would still get the song stuck in my head. When it was over, they showed the Japanese title for Sonic and the Black Knight for some reason. While I can't read Japanese, somehow, I know deep down in my heart, it says Sonic in there somewhere. The lead singer also shared about how it was his dream to be a singer for game music and that dreams can come true. He gave a message to everyone about the importance of following your dreams and not giving up. It was very encouraging and much better than the cheesy Disney follow your heart message. He constantly stated how he makes mouth noises for a living. I thought to myself, well, that's what you call singing, then I'm going to start telling people that as a violinist, I make string noises with what we all hope is synthetic horsehair. While I did say that the second portion of the show is the rock portion, it's also the heavy metal portion. This is when they played many a Sonic Frontiers songs. At the time, I frankly only knew the opening to Undefeatable, and that's about it. It was a relief that for the metal songs they actually projected the lyrics, so concerned parents wouldn't have to go, "What are they saying?" My mom pointed out how impressed she was that the lyrics to Sonic songs have such positive messages. Which is true. I mean, imagine if Escape from the City had lyrics that actually matched to the context of the level. Running away from authority, got police on my tail, I just hope they don't catch me, now wish me luck as I dodge this truck. Yeah, it's nice that most of the Sonic songs are so positive. What about that one? Okay, I said most of the songs. So don't be bothering me in the comments with your stinking technicalities or the Shadow the Hedgehog soundtrack. And they censored that one song I know someone wants to bring up. That song gaslit me so bad though. I heard it in the game and I was like, that melody is so beautiful. I'm gonna find it on Spotify. Why isn't it on the game soundtrack? Were they always saying that and I just didn't notice? Really, the only lyrics I found offensive that they played at the symphony were, I just thought it was rude to tell us not to look down. I mean, sure, there's people beneath us, but they're not beneath us. Not everyone can get balcony seats. At one point in the show, the performers all showed off their new haircuts. Very nice. When the show came closer to ending, they played the song Find Your Flame from Sonic Frontiers. In the song, it has lyrics that say, "Now here we go, it's the end of the show." I didn't realize these were the lyrics, so I went, what? No! You didn't play Ska-Cha-Cha! Then to conclude the show, in their encore performance, the Sonic Symphony graced us with beautiful singing and acoustic guitar playing. Really, my biggest complaint about the show is that it ends. The show only lasted for about 2 hours. The last thing the Sonic Symphony does for the show is take their picture with the crowd. So, face reveal! I'm somewhere over there. Let me know if you find me, because I haven't found me yet. The last clip of the show I'll share is this sweet moment I caught on tape. In case the fan ever sees this video, I caught this moment for you. Enjoy. That'll be $50. As we walked out of the building, I saw some Sonic fans with an Insta-carriage pizza at the ready. Now those are real gamers. Much have I to learn. My mom and I blared Sonic rock songs on the drive home as I ate a stale, disgusting Oreo-flavored cookie. Wish I had an Insta pizza. As we were leaving Boston, we were stopped at a red light when we saw an Insta-carriage guy on a scooter wearing Sonic pants, running the red light. Before we knew it, he popped a wheelie in the road. I bet he's one of those guys who has a bumper sticker that says, "If I'm speeding, it's because I'm listening to the Sonic Adventure 2 soundtrack." I was wired after the show. My sleep was hanging past the edge of tomorrow. It took forever to fall asleep. My family and I left the next day to fly to Texas for my grandfather's funeral. I listened to the Sonic Symphony soundtrack as well as the City Harmonics We Are album on the flight there and back. Having gone to the symphony before going to the funeral a few days later was really helpful for me. It gave me a positive memory to carry during a difficult season. As I sat alone after the funeral, the memory of the show brought me comfort. That and singing I Have a Dream It Feels Like Home by the City Harmonic to myself. Not much time later in the week, I bought myself a Switch, my first new game console since my 3DS, and the first game I bought to play on it was Sonic Frontiers. I now listen to that soundtrack habitually. The song I'm Here especially haunted me, leaving me no choice but to write my second music arrangement. But this time, I wrote it for a string ensemble I play with. We'll see if we end up playing that. I'm clearly just trying to bring the Sonic Symphony experience to my orchestra. I also jam to the Sonic rock songs regularly and am crushing 40 all the time. My metalhead cousin hopes that my listening to Sonic Frontiers is a gateway to turning me into a metalhead. To that I say, dream on, cat. Dream on. No wandering the Nordic forests for me or getting thunderstruck! Oops. Cat, you never heard that. So that was my Sonic Symphony experience. It definitely changed my perspective of Sonic fans for the better. With so many polite and interesting people, it made me feel better as a Sonic fan. Maybe we're not all insane after all. This video has been quite an undertaking. I've been brewing jokes for it for over a year now, so I hope you had fun watching, and may God bless you in your life and your art. But before I say goodbye to you, one more last fist bump! Well, Joey, looks like the convention at the Boston Symphony Hall is finally over. Good riddance. Now we can finally break in there and practice our Gregorian chanting. Not on my watch, boys. Not on my watch. Quick, Joey, unlock your car. You're too slow. Don't suppose I could bribe you with a gift card to Dunkin' Donuts, huh? Nice try, but I'm not the donut lord. There's been quite the crime surge today. Red light runner, 2 guys dressed as Mario, now this. But trust me, Crook, no one can escape from the city. No one. Living in the city, you know you have to survive. This is the real world. Stars don't twinkle, moon doesn't shine.
Well, I'm clocking out for the night. Oh yeah, any plans? Well, my boyfriend is gonna pick me up on his scooter and we might grab a Dunkin' or a pizza.
Fancy.
Whew, it's getting hot in here.
Nice shirt.
Oops. Laundry day.
It's been a great show! You all have been a fantastic audience! And so, for our last performance, give it up for... Ska-cha-cha! Woo! Yeah! No way any other